Hey kids, welcome to Magpie Chatbot, Part 3, Responses that Transform Statements. If your class has time, your teacher may have you do activity 4 below, and guess what kids, we're going to do activity 4 below. As stated previously, single keywords are interesting, but better chatbots look for groups of words. Statements like, I like cats, I like math class, I like Spain, all have a form of I like something. The response could be, what do you like about something? This activity will respond to groupings of words. Try each of the following as a value for the statement in the main method and see what they print out. Or you can try it on Replit. I want to understand French. Do you like me? You confuse me. And kids, after this, we're going to go through the Java visualizer like we do to step through it. But let's go ahead and look at this program here. Kids, we're going to try these 3 statements here. Where are we going to try them at? Well, all the way down at the bottom here, you can see we have a statement right now. I want to build a robot. And it looks like our new version of a Magpie is going to print off some response plus the statement. So I'm going to say I want to build a robot. Let's go ahead and see what it prints off. So the statement, I want to build a robot, prints off what would it mean to build a robot? What would that mean, kids? So it looks like to build a robot and to build a robot look similar. Let's try something else. Do you confuse me? And we have 2 periods. Let's just get rid of 1. Let's save and run that one. You confuse me. What makes you think that I confuse you? So it looks like we got a little different of a statement. And I want to understand French. I want to understand French. What does it mean to understand French? The I want statements looks like it's taking I want, dropping that off, and replacing this part with what do you mean to? To me, that means we're copying and pasting a part of it and putting it into a statement there. And that looks like that's what this means here. So we have our response, which is that right there, and then the Maggie get response statement, which looks like it is a combination of a copy and paste and a predetermined beginning. Let's really step through this program to better understand it before we get into Replit. What I want you to know is the statement we're looking for is I want to build a robot. All of the things that we previously coded in still apply. It's still going to look for some keywords by, no, blank responses, brother, mother, sister, father. Now we're just adding the I want to. This is the same thing as the previous one where we looked for the word cat and catch. Instead of looking for a word, we're looking for a phrase. Kids, it is the same thing. Don't overthink it. Let's go ahead and step through this code, and I think by the end you'll have a little bit better understanding. First thing we do is initialize a new instance of Magpie 4. This is all in our public class Magpie. And we are going to start our first method here. And our first method is going to look for the string, I want to build a robot. What's it going to be looking for? Well, like I said, it's going to go down all of these methods. So the first method we're looking for is we are looking for if it is blank. And here you will see that it is not. The statement is I want to build a robot, and we actually have words there. It's not equal to 0, so it's going to move on to the next one. The next method is going to look for the word no, because that's the one we have from before. And it's going to go up. Again, it's going to go down to lowercase. And we're just trimming it as we go through. And here we're looking for the word No, we don't have it in any of this here. We're going to return a -1 because remember, kids, from our previous lesson, if our keyword isn't in our phrase, we return a -1. So we're just returning a -1 because the phrase isn't in there. Next, we're going to go to our next one, which is just the word no. And that's from the start point. So if we asked, how are you doing? And it just says no, we go, why so negative? Again, the same thing's going to happen. Is that the same? No. So now we're going to go over to mother. Is mother the same thing? We're just checking against our phrases. So far, we haven't hit anything. It hasn't been blank. It hasn't been no. So it's just going to look for mother. Again, if it's not in there, we're bringing back a -1. Next thing we're going to do is we are going to go to our next keyword, which is going to be father. And the same thing's going to happen. We're going to check against statements, goals, and see what we got. Again, we're going from the start position of 0. We are converting it to lowercase. We're looking for all of these words. Is father in I went to build a robot? Nope, it is not. We're going to go again looking for another keyword. This time, instead of father, we're going to go to sister. The whole process over again, kids. We're looking for the word sister. This is again another instance of Magpie 4. If you can see, it's still just going through looking for the word sister. It's not. This is doing a lot of the code we were before. It's comparing the letters before and after. Again, none of these things are in there. So we are going to get a -1. The code is going to reset. Now we're going to look for one last keyword. You guessed it, kids, brother. Same thing. It's looking for all of the phrases. We don't have any. -1. Now we're going to jump out of that find keyword statement we worked on yesterday. Now we're jumping into the new stuff. This is our else if statement, and you're looking at it and it's saying, I want to. So instead of looking for mother, now we're looking to I want to. Essentially the same code, kids. And then the response is going to equal this variable here in the statement. As it goes through, it's going to find I want to. The next thing it's going to do is it's going to chop off the period because we found the phrase. And you can see before and after our want to, we don't have anything. It's blank and the after is blank. At this point, we have to identify the I want to part and the part we want to keep. And the part we want to keep is going to be everything after the I want to. So resetting our position here. So everything after that is a robot. This part is just looking for the position, where to cut and where to start copying. Now that we know that's what the statement is, we're going to go down here to the second part. This is going to trim off the period. So the first part was just identifying our string. The second part is passing our string. And first, now that we identified it, we're going to chop off that period because we don't need it. So we're getting rid of the last character. We're actually going to add to this because it could be anything after. It could be an exclamation point, could be a question mark, you name it. It could be anywhere, kids. So once we get rid of that, we're identifying the I want to part. Now we're going to store everything after it, the build a robot. So if you go here, we're just looking for the string before and after. We're just comparing it. And now that we know where the position of build is, so we identified the first part. Now that we know where the second part is, we're going to check that one. And that part is going to be the second part of what do you mean build a robot. So they're going to return what you mean. We're getting a rest of statement. Rest of statement is just everything after I want to. And then after that, so this is the response we have, and then we're going to return that value. And that's how we get from I want to build a robot to the response, what would it mean to build a robot? The too long didn't pay attention here, Mr. Rhodes. Basically, instead of looking at words, we're looking at phrases the same exact way. We're checking for what's before, what's after. As soon as we find that out, we trim that part off. We're keeping the second part, storing that as a variable, and then calling that in our response plus a variable. That's all we're doing, kids. It's pretty easy once you understand it. Let's go ahead back to Runestone. I think we have a couple more things to do before we go code this up, kids. So kids, for what we're going to do is we're going to add to the chatbot we've already been doing. The chatbot is altered to look not only for keywords, but now for specific phrases. Magpie for Java adds two new methods, transform I1 statements and transform YouMe statements, and getResponse has been modified to add tests for I want something statements and you something me statements. Look at the code, see how it handles I want to and YouMe statements. Then add two new methods, transform I1 statements and transform IU statements, and call to each as described below. Alter the code either above an active code window or on a replet. Your choice, kids. What are we specifically doing? In a method, transform I1 statements, have it respond to I want something statements with, would you really be happy if you had something? You can use the already written transform I1 statement methods as a guide. In doing this, you need to be careful about where you place the call to the method so it calls the right one. And then we're going to test the following. Statement, I want fried chicken. Response, you would be really happy if you had fried chicken. In a method, transform IU statements, have a respond to statement in the form I something you with the restructuring why do you something me. You can use the transform you me statement method as a guide. Test with the following. I like you. Why do you like me? Kids, that's awfully sad, but we're going to code it up. Find an example when the structure does not work well. How can you improve it? Well, kids, we're going to tackle the first two in this video. I'm going to have you do some extra stuff. So please check in the Googly Classroom for the specifics on this assignment. All right, kids, let's jump over to a Replit and code this up. Kids, we're over here in Replit. If you open up Magpie for the piece of code that you want to copy over here, this starts at responses, which will require transformations, and it goes all the way down to the initial part we added, the private string random responses. Make sure you are copying and pasting that into the code you have been using. We're just going to come in between our two parts there and paste it in. That is the same code from Magpie 4 into your part 2 with all of your fine keywords. Again, you always want to run it just to make sure it works. Try your keywords. Everything looks good. You are ready to move on, kids. If you look here, one of the first things we did was we pasted in a find keyword phrase now I want to. So this is very similar to what we've been doing. Now we're just doing statements. I want to. And if you look and we come down here, here is our I want to statement. So it's basically looking to find that statement. Once it does, it's going to trim it back. And then it's going to get rid of the last character. And if we want to add to that, how do we add to that? Well, just up here, kids, we could do the same thing. So we're just going to go or, just like we did down here to our I1 statement. So we come down here and we're just going to add or last character dot equals, and this one we are going to do our question mark, and then again, let's come over here, copy and paste this in, exclamation point. Our code's looking pretty gross here, kids. Don't forget your part there. We're going to have to put that in there and that there. That should now look for the statement. Tab this over here for either a period, question mark, or exclamation point. So that's just a little addition to our code there, just to make sure we're not looking just for one end. And whatever it does find, now it's going to remove it. So again, it's going to find that statement. We're going to go back and forth, and then we are going to look for the position after it. So if you look 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, anything after that, it's going to print off and what would you mean it to rest of statement. So essentially, we're creating a new variable, and the new variable is going to be whatever is after the I want to statement. And then we're going to put a question mark. So it's going to print off what would it mean to, then the rest of the statement. Let's just try that out. I want to learn CS. What does it mean to learn CS? So again, we just took whatever is after I want to, which is learn CS. We took the statement, what would it mean to, what would it mean to, and then learn CS. If we took this down to position 8 now, kids, and we want to do, I want to learn CS. Now you can see, look kids, we went to the next letter over there. So remember, your position here is super important. What we're going to have to do is we're going to have to add another statement here, kids. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here and I'm going to add another response here. And mine is just going to be, this is a I want to. I'm going to add I hate to. And basically, kids, we're going to copy this over here and we're going to paste this down here. And instead of I want to, we're going to put I hate to. And we have to, instead of I want to, we have to change this also to hate to, because we need a new variable, a name here. So now we're going to find the key statements I hate to. And we have to do the same thing. We have to create a new string down here. And if you look, this is our string we had before. So let's just copy the string over. We can use that. And let's just give a couple of little returns there. And this is going to be my I hate you, just so we know where we're working with here. And if you look, here's your I hate you part right here. Let's start adding some parts that we know. So I want to becomes I hate to. And we're looking for the characters. We know it's trimming that, so it should be pretty good. We're looking for which phrase, the I hate to. And now let's replace this. Why do you hate? And then we should get a question mark. Position 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, same as before. Now, when I throw in my string, I hate to, I should get, why do you hate whatever? Let's stop and run. No errors. Things are looking good, kids. I love CS. Oop. I love to learn CS. Ooh, nope, kids. It's I want to learn CS. And there we have our copy. Look, it's the same as the one before because we have the space. I hate to have days off school. And why you hate have days off school. So you can see it gets it. Is our English pretty good? It's close, but we could obviously do better. Maybe we could take off the next word. We could try a different position. Let's go up. Well, we don't want to go that. We just want to keep the I hate to. Sometimes it'll come up like that. I hate building computers. I don't, kids. I love it. I hate to build computers. We have to use the right phrase. Why do you hate build computers? Maybe we should add the word to in there. Let's try that again. I hate to go home from school. Why do you hate to go home from school? We should add a space after that right there. Try that again. I hate to lose at Fortnite. Oh, kids, that went to the other word. So we have to be careful because remember, orders of operation matter here. I hate to lose at video games. Why do you hate to lose at video games? So that one's working a little better, kids. So you can see that's how we can transform an I hate statement or an I want statement. You kids are going to have to go through and finish off some other parts here. So you're going to have to add some codes to I want, which shouldn't be too hard. It's pretty much the same thing here. Instead of I hate to, you're going to do I want to. And then we're going to do one more for something about me. So some statement that says I something you. So you're going to finish off by doing those two. Kids, I just wanted to go over one other section here, and this is using two words for a statement. And their example, it's you something me. So it could be you love me or anything like that. How does it work? Well, what it's doing is it's finding the keyword you. That'll be the first part of our statement. And then it's setting that to position of you or PSN of you. And then it creates another integer position of me. And that is wherever the statement is position of you plus 3. So it's basically looking for wherever u is 1, 2, 3 moving over. And it's going to print up to me. So it's anything in the middle. And we can see that when we run it because it's going to print off what makes you think that I something here you. You 1, 2, 3 me. What makes you think I 1, 2, 3 you? But it works for a bunch of stuff, kids. You want to take me to the dance. What makes you think I want to take you? So you can see a bunch of statements fall in here. This is an example of how you can get two common phrases and throw it into your code to make your chatbot a little more personable. If you want to know what the call up there looks like, if we go up here, you can see it is looking for both words. We have to do this a little different. This could be an else if statement. And we're basically looking for the word you. And if we find you and we find the word me, you and me, then we're going to go to that statement we just said down below. Otherwise, we're going to get random response, and random response is this all the way down at the bottom. So we link back to that first part of code. So in this one, we need this code to work. And again, this could just be an else if statement. It is an else because it is the last statement in mine. Hopefully you'll find that helpful, putting 2-word transformational statements in your code. And kids, well, that is it. That is just Magpie Part 3. And that's really where we're going to end with our chatbot. As you can see, we can keep adding to it. There are some definitely issues with doing it this way. As you can see, whatever string comes up first really overrides anything we want to do. Are there ways to fix it? Absolutely. Are we going to do it with this chatbot? Absolutely not. This, kids, if you finish off those couple of things, and don't forget to check Googly Classroom because you're definitely going to have some extra things to add like always. As long as you're adding those, that fulfills this requirement for APCSA, and you are done, my friends. Hopefully you found this interesting. I really look forward to all of the amazing things you are going to code up. Remember, my videos are just the foundation for where you should be, not for what you should be turning in, my little friends. As always, if you have any questions on what you should be doing, please come see me. Otherwise, I'll see you on the next video, kids. See you later. Goodbye. Bye.